disability benefits. Call Pinnacle Disability Group at 800-593-7491 for your free case evaluation. That's 800-593-7491. 800-593-7491. Call now.
Good afternoon, folks, and welcome to Fifth Street Sports. We're here on a beautiful Thursday afternoon in Las Vegas. We are on the Sports Byline SB Nation Radio Network. You can also find us on Facebook.com/Fifth Street Sports Talk, and of course on Twitter at Fifth Street Sports. Wow, we had a heck of a new baseball strategies coming into play yesterday, Brian. I don't know if you noticed in that this is a move that I would put in your playbook. You know what I mean? Here is a Milwaukee coach, Counsell, comes in, sets up a starter, Wade Miley, throws 5 pitches, gets the Dodgers lineup all shook up, and then he changes pitchers. Isn't that something kind of like you would put right at the top of your playbook in the postseason?
You know, Frank, this is something I would put in my playbook every day of the year. I love it. I've been advocating for this for years, and it's insane that, it was done a little bit by Tampa during the regular season, but it absolutely should be done. That's the way baseball should be played. If you're trying to win the game, use every tool you have. It's total insanity to telegraph who your pitcher is going to be and to go out and use that. What other sport would be stupid enough to do such a thing? I think it would be like in the NFL. If you went out to shake the hand of the other coach and said, hey, it's good to see you, and here's the first 15 plays we're going to run. No one would be that stupid in football, and I can't believe it's taken baseball 150 years or whatever to figure out that you don't tell your opponent who your starting pitcher is going to be and then stick to that guy. It's absolutely what should be done, and it's going to be the wave of the future. In Japan and Korea, and I want to even say Taiwan, I think most of the Asian leagues, they don't announce their pitcher. They go to great lengths to hide their starting pitcher. So we'll talk about that during the first segment. This is a big issue of mine, is using strategy properly and why teams haven't done it historically.
You know, this is the opening segment, which is short. But when I come back, Brian, I want to, we're totally, folks, we're totally fresh, right out of the oven. This we didn't even have a recipe for this show. This one's coming right out of the oven. We prepared, but it's coming to you fresh. Stay tuned. It's Fifth Street Sports. This next segment we're going to call When It Was a Game. We're talking about Major League Baseball. We'll be right back, folks. Fifth Street Sports, Oklahoma, Brian and Frank Perez. Don't go anywhere.
Being a new parent means every high and low you can imagine. But Evos can make it all easier with a baby monitor you can trust. Go to myevos.com, that's MYEVOZ.com, to see how Evos can be the eyes and ears of your nursery. Evos works with your smartphone to provide a live audio and HD video connection to your baby anytime and anywhere. On a date, at work, away on business, even serving your country overseas, Evos helps you never miss a moment. Whether your baby is with a sitter, your partner, a grandparent, or a friend, you'll be right there too. And with unique features like smart alerts that know the difference between a barking dog and your baby crying, extensive sleep tracking data, and state-of-the-art security features for your peace of mind, Evos is the smart baby monitor for connected parents. And enter the code SPORTS at checkout for $20 off. That's myevos.com. MYEVOZ.com.
Want to fly somewhere? Looking for cheap flights or cheap tickets? Then call. That's right. Call the low-cost airline travel hotline now for prices so low we can't publish them anywhere. Low Cost Airlines has all kinds of cheap travel deals. Fly domestically and save up to 75%. You can even fly internationally and save even more. Yes, fly anywhere in the world and save a lot of money on your plane tickets. We'll even save you money with cheap travel deals on hotels, rental cars, even complete travel packages. So don't book your tickets until you call us first for the absolute cheapest prices on U.S. and international airline tickets and hotels. Call right now for prices so low they can't can't be published. Travel experts are here 24/7 to help. 800-754-4531. 800-754-4531. 800-754-4531. That's 800-754-4531.
Drowning in IRS debt? If you can't afford to pay your IRS debt due to economic hardship, you can now be free of IRS collection efforts by taking advantage of a special IRS tax hardship program. This program allows Americans who owe the IRS to resolve their delinquent tax debt once and for all. In some cases, maybe even reducing what you owe significantly. An open phone line has been established by Community Tax for consumers to call and see if they qualify. Simply dial 800-426-3569. If you owe back taxes to the IRS and cannot afford to pay them back or have years of unfiled tax returns, help is standing by. Just call the Community Tax Helpline today at 800-426-3569 for the help that you need. Don't take on the IRS alone. They can attack your wages, savings, pension, home, and even your Social Security check. Call 800-426-3569 to see if you qualify. That's 800-426-3569.
Folks, we're back. Fifth Street Sports with Oklahoma Brian, my co-host, and I'm Frank Perez. We are on the Sports Byline SB Nation Radio Network. Brian, this next one here, I decided to choose this title for this one because of this baseball fiasco that's going on, which I don't think it's a fiasco. I think it's strategy, called When It Was a Game. I remember that show on HBO, and it was about how old school baseball players would actually sign autographs. They cared. They played hard. They really tried, compared to these guys now that are, charging you for autographs. All these, spoiled little brats hitting 275 with 18 homers and 68 RBIs, and they don't want to play for $9 million. But yesterday, Brian, happened something in the postseason where a coach for the Milwaukee Brewers gets the whole lineup ready for the Dodgers, throws Wade Miley in to throw 5 pitches, yanks him out for Brandon Woodruff. Has got the whole, Dodger lineup all shaken up. Now, I know you like that play, and as a coach, that's what you would call. But for us bettors, boy, that could be kind of interesting, or like tuberculosis if, you do all your handicapping based on Wade Miley, and the next thing you know, they're bringing another guy after 5 pitches.
Yeah, I know. It's it's devious, but I love it. Do you know this? The Brewers, during the postseason, their starters have only pitched like 35% of the innings so far in the postseason. Really, really low number. It reminds me going back like 25 years ago, when Florida, Rick and I, we coached a little league flag football team, like way back, when we were in college. And one of the funniest aspects of that was that we spent about 99% of our time on trick plays. Because that's all I really wanted to do was run trick plays. We had some great trick plays. We were a mediocre team, though, outside of that. But yeah, I love strategy, and I love kind of throwing your opponent the curveball. I think this should be the new norm in all of baseball. And hell, I'd like to see it in football. Why not announce you're going to start? Why not, if you're the Bills? Why not tell the Colts you're going to send out Nathan Peterman just to give them a little bit of misdirection. And then if you really want to start, Derek Anderson this week, then Derek Anderson comes out. I think it's great. I know that the league is a little bit conscious of gamblers and having one set of people not have the correct information. So these leagues are very, very careful about. That's really what they're concerned about, is gamblers having the real information. And then all of a sudden it looks like, there's one group of people that's not getting the right side. But, let me ask you, Frank, when you're betting, do you typically bet listed or pitches or action?
Always listed pitchers. Now we know with totals and run lines, it's always listed automatically. But I always put listed pitchers on there, just because if in that rare occasion you get a pitching change and now you got to go with action, they give you whatever line they want. And how about you? Don't you list your pitchers every time?
Well, you should, but it's interesting. It's not as straightforward of a decision, I think, as some professional bettors think it is. Yeah, clearly listed is the way to go because you're making a bet based upon the pitcher that you think is going to pitch, and if he's not, yeah, you really expose yourself to the house. The house can put any price they want to on you. If pitcher A is scratched and pitcher B comes in, the house can look at, we have 20% of our action on team one and 80% on team B, and let's pick the line that really sticks it to the customer. And books do that, no doubt they do it. The only thing that I have to take into consideration is how frequently do we have these situations with scratch pitchers. They're relatively rare in 2018. And then the other thing is, I think I can make myself appear a little more square to bookmakers sometimes if I do bet action. It looks totally idiotic, to be honest. And so sometimes I'll do that. Hey, Frank, I'm not hearing you. I don't know if your headset's out, but I'm going to keep talking while you see if you can. It could be me, but I think it's your headset. I've got another one, though, related to. Yeah, there you go.
Can you hear me now?
But
Brian, but before
I was going to have to
off,
do the whole show myself.
No, but before you got off that point, I just wanted to make something clear. Okay, so now we know that the coaches can use kind of tricky situations like that. You list a starter, a righty, and he throws 5 pitches. You yank him in for a lefty, and then the other team.
Yeah, it's okay. So basically, right? Yeah, you pitch the one guy for 5 pitches. He doesn't quite. You take him out, and then theoretically, you could use that starter from one night. You could use him the next night. Really, if it was up to me, and I was the guy who was doing this, last night was a total ambush. They didn't know. The Dodgers didn't see this coming, so they used Wade Miley because he's a starting pitcher, and that totally fooled them. When you get into a situation where you're faking out the guy constantly, and you're basically not even faking him out, you're just trying to not show your hand. At that point, why not use the starting pitcher from the previous night, right? That guy is totally expendable. Why eat up one pitcher that you don't have to? So the guy that goes the bulk of the innings the previous night, maybe have him come in and throw one pitch, or throw the pitch left-handed if his arm's sore. And then, you force your opponent to submit their lineup to the umpire. And at that point, you can do whatever you want. At that point, then you go out and win the game and pick the pitchers that correspond to the weaknesses in your opponent's lineup. Related to this, Mexican baseball doesn't. This is something that was. It's a gentleman's part of the game, but it's also a function of the amount of money that's bet on baseball. It was, I suppose, an outgrowth of the 1919 Black Sox scandal, right? Baseball wanted to be completely transparent. But, in Mexico, they don't make a big deal about starting pitchers. And I know we've talked about this. There's a big growing market in the U.S. now of betting Mexican baseball, right?
Yeah.
The guys are the originators. One of the best tools they have is they just go into Twitter or Google, and they're scouring to see if there's a pitching change. And even if they don't speak the language, they can use Google Translate, and they see through some form of social media that one particular pitcher's been scratched, another guy is in. That's all they need to know to go out and bet that game. That combined with the rudimentary knowledge of wind direction and the geographic orientation of the stadiums.
But what a disaster for us, though, Brian. In Major League Baseball, for bettors, let's say you do all your, or the guys that we're stealing info from are doing all their handicapping. I mean, either way, whether we do our handicapping or the guys that are stealing, now you got to handicap the coach, because let's say you base your total bet or your starting pitching bet or 5 innings all on a pitcher, and then the coach is being tricky. And the next thing you know, he pitches 5, 6, 7 pitches, and he yanks them, and doesn't that throw? After a while, you got to start handicapping your coaches to see how sneaky this guy could get.
Yeah, but I relish those situations. I think the smart money wins out in the long run. I'll give you an example. When a couple times a year when Don Best will go down or other line services go down. It used to be a big deal, more so in the past, right? Like say 10 years ago, if Don Best was down for the day, it was a nightmare for a lot of books because they had no guidance on how to move their lines, And I even heard a lot of bettors complain, but boy, I think the really great bettors enjoyed those situations of kind of feeling their way around in the dark. And I kind of think of this as a analogous situation to that. I say bring it on. I love it. I think if you're a really sharp bettor, you like these kind of uncertainty.
Yeah.
You think you can gain more knowledge than the betting population in general.
No, that's true. But when we come back, I want to just touch a little bit more briefly because I had a couple of comments left on this baseball thing, and then the way baseball's headed towards morality. I think it's declining. It's just the same way as everything else in society, which is all's fair in love and baseball. But we'll be right back with Fifth Street Sports, Oklahoma Brian and Frank Perez. Stay tuned. Don't go anywhere. We got a great segment coming up.
If you or someone you love suffers from drug addiction, now is the time to utilize your private health insurance PPO plan. If eligible, receive up to $30,000 or more in substance abuse benefits with low or no out-of-pocket cost. We are the National Treatment Network, the premier drug and alcohol treatment referral service operating 24/7. We help connect you with facilities nationwide that accepts PPO private health insurance for substance abuse. If you have PPO substance abuse coverage and you need immediate admittance to a medical detox or residential rehab treatment center, call us now. Call our live referral helpline today. The call is free. This program is not available to Medicare or Medicaid customers.
Call 800-296-1252. 800-296-1252. 800-296-1252. That's 800-296-1252.
In times of economic uncertainty and chaos, your money means nothing. You may not even be able to get it from your bank or ATM. And the money you do have in the stock market will go down and down. What you can bank on is gold and silver. Gold and silver have been a reliable and trusted form of currency for thousands of years. Gold and silver have never been worth zero, and typically gold holds its value during economic turmoil. Call the Gold Hotline now and learn how to protect your money and your assets with gold and silver. And learn how to set up a new IRA or roll over your current one into a gold-backed IRA. Protect your money from the next market crash with gold and silver. Call now for your free gold guide.
800-535-7789. 800-535-7789. 800-535-7789. That's 800-535-7789.
Hi, I'm Dr. Robert Clapper, Chief of Orthopedic Surgery at Cedars-Sinai Medical Group in Los Angeles, California. Dedicated to your health, your life, and your sports. As a weekend warrior, you know about sports injuries and pain. Exercise is an important element in keeping your body's core in good shape to minimize sports injuries. But when you are in pain, there is one product that I recommend to my patients, and that is Blue Goo Gel. Blue Goo consists of a proprietary formula developed specifically for the treatment of inflammation and general muscle aches and strains. I recommend Blue Goo for my patients coping with hip and knee pain before surgery, especially bursitis and tendinitis. Give Blue Goo a try. Call 1-888-330-0123 and you'll receive a 1-week supply of Blue Goo absolutely free. The makers of Blue Goo are even paying the shipping. The number again is 1-888-330-0123. If you want more information on Blue Goo, visit online at www.dothegoo.com.
Now available at select Big 5 stores near you.
Hi, folks. We're back here on Fifth Street Sports. I'm Frank Perez, joined with my co-host, Oklahoma Brian. We were talking about baseball. There was a couple other things I was thinking about in the baseball playoffs last night. You know, now with this Boston being up 3-1, I was feeling it for you, buddy, because I know you got a lot of action on Boston to not win it. And boy, when that home run got robbed in the first inning from Altuve, and then that catch late with the bases loaded, I said, Brian, you must have had that feeling like you had like a ham sandwich strapped to your back and running through downtown Ethiopia. Right? You're scrambling, baby. 3-1.
I don't even know how to respond to that. Yeah,
I mean,
not a good feeling.
Not a good feeling.
Not
I mean,
a good feeling.
Wow, you got this Boston to not win it. Boy, I tell you what, you better hope this Verlander shows up tonight.
You know, Frank, I was really enjoying this show until you had to bring Boston into it.
I know you're suffering. I mean,
material.
I'm just getting you a little bit queasy because tomorrow you got something else coming up too. Have you ever felt like those marathon runners where you got a big lead and all of a sudden, like you think you got a huge lead and then you turn around and you say, oh, there's a Cuban on my path because I'm Cuban. I just gained some more games on you for that contest tomorrow. You know that, right? I just don't want you to be nervous. I don't want you to be nervous here running, but there's somebody on your back in Boston and at the Fifth Street Pick 100 contest. But hey, well, Brian, I do got to tell you this, because we got a few people that wrote in, plus my buddies that I told to, and they wanted to give you a big hand yesterday on your Phoenix Suns that everybody shipped it in on, because you said that the Dallas Mavericks guys weren't feeling good after that trip to Beijing or wherever they were at in China, and sure enough,
took 2 out of 3. Yeah, we took 2 out of 3. We took Phoenix easily.
Yeah.
And we had Sacramento, and we just missed on the Sacramento total.
No, you didn't just miss on that. No, come on, like that game landed too. But the big game was the Phoenix Suns at home. The Phoenix Suns at home. You gave everybody a great reason to bet it. And did you see that the line closed at 3? They just kept jamming Maverick. Yeah.
What was going on with that?
I don't know, but I visited Mr. Moore on that one because as it kept climbing, I just bet more and more on that one. I had a big meeting with Mr. Moore, and I said I'm going to go with Brian, and he's handicapped his Beijing trip, and these guys are coming home not feeling well. Sure enough, we win that one by 21. So I gave you a round of applause, but I got to tell you.
Thank you, I appreciate it. That was good. Yeah, so nice start to this NBA season so far. And maybe we'll have a play in the third segment. We got LeBron making his debut tonight. We'll see how that goes. He's did you know he's 0-3 when debuting with the new team?
I did not know that. So each time he switched jerseys, he loses for the first game out of the chute, right?
Yeah, and I'm really curious to see how far Luke Walton can ride this thing. I'm not necessarily a big Laker fan. I'll be totally honest. I've grown up. I'm not going to say I'm a Laker hater. I just haven't been a Laker fan. But I'm a big Luke Walton fan. Always have been. And I'm really curious to see how this thing plays out. LeBron hasn't always been the best player as far as coach preservation goes. We'll see how this turns out.
Well,
hey, can we kick it back to the Wade Miley deal for a second?
Yeah, I'm ready for that.
More.
I'm ready for that. But I know that's right up your alley. When that's one of your cloak and dagger plays. Go ahead.
What I was gonna say is, I love it, and I don't know if I'm unusual in this respect, but gosh, for the last, even before I was really in the industry, I think ever since I was in high school or college, one of my favorite conversations is kind of what if scenarios with my friends. Like, what if a team did this? How would the referees handle it? Is this legal? Could we get away with this? I've always loved trick plays. I've always loved deception. I've always loved kind of trying to stay slightly within the rules, but at the same time be a little bit devious. So, the Wade Miley thing's right in my alley. I was going to say, I'd love to get on the show in the future. I'd love to maybe book a retired football referee or basketball for that matter, and do a show where callers could come in with our listeners could write in with hypothetical questions or email, because man, I love it. I actually bumped into an NBA referee at a bar about a week ago, 10 days ago, and I had a really interesting conversation with him. specifically about rims, and I don't want to give anything away because we're going to do a show in a couple weeks related to rims. But it was a fascinating conversation, and it was a really great conversation until I mentioned something about gambling, and then the conversation ended shortly afterwards. But
Wow.
I won't mention the guy's name, but he was a nice guy and talked to me for a little while. Yeah, in football, for example, I've always wondered, and I really don't know the answer to this as we speak, but I've always known in football that, when you get to the end of the game or the end of the half, but especially the end of the game, and you've got limited time, like say 10, 15 seconds, I've always felt like one of the best penalties you can commit was defensive holding, right? Just hold your opponent. It's a relatively minor, and it's 5 yards. That's nothing when you're trying to kill 7, 8 seconds. But I've always said to myself, man, if you're going to do that, why just have one guy hold? Why not have all 11 guys hold?
Yeah.
And amazingly, no one ever did that until recently. I saw Jim Harbaugh do that John Harbaugh, sorry, with the Ravens about 2 years ago. And I thought, wow, like finally someone sees things the same way that I do. There was another one about 10 years ago, I want to say, with when Brett Bielema, maybe 7 or 8 years ago, when Brett Bielema was the coach of Wisconsin, and Joe Paterno was still around. It was like maybe the last year or two of Paterno. And I had always known this was the rule and wondered why people didn't do this. In college football, you can kick off, and the clock is running until there's some kind of contact or the whistle's blown. So Bielema figured this out, and he had about 20 to 25 seconds to kill, maybe 30 seconds. It was maybe, and he would kick off, and he would send his entire team offside. So if they were kicking off from their own 30, he would send them downfield, running downfield. But the kicker didn't kick it until they were already like 30 yards downfield or more. So by the time he kicked the ball, these guys were already down like at the Penn State 20 or 15-yard line. And they would tackle the Penn State player, and referee would throw the flag. It was a 5-yard penalty. Well, Bielema was like, great, okay, I'll concede 5 yards because I just ran off, 8, 9 seconds. And he did it like 2, 3 times. All of a sudden, the half was over, and Penn State didn't get to have a possession, to end the first half. And it was brilliant football. And I thought to myself, man, that's the kind of thing that a lot of people said, hey, that's dirty football. I don't respect that. Not me. I love it. I love somebody that can read the rules and interpret an advantage. Here's another one I've always thought.
But can they still do that, or did they change the rules on that?
Right. The competition committee changed the
Hey,
rule.
Brian, hang on a second. That sounds like Rockford's in the house. Rockford's coming in the house. Here we go, guys. The Rockford Files. This guy's been really climbing back. Let's see what he's got for us today. Let's see what Rockford's got. There it is, guys. Rockford's picks. He's going with 330. Game number 330. Army minus 7.5 against Miami of Ohio. And here's one that I don't know if Rockford stopped by the dispensary or not. Because, Brian, I know we're going to hate this one. Game 359. Utah State over 51.5 against this Wyoming team. Rockford, I mean, I know nobody knows what you look like, and we're trying to find you, and you're sending these really goofy selfies, or we don't know what you look like, but you may be stopping by the dispensary too much, buddy, with this Utah over 51.5. What do you think of that, Brian, with this Wyoming squad?
I mean, Wyoming's had a hard time even making first downs the last couple of weeks. I had them as a foolish pick to win outright against Fresno last week.
Oh.
And then everyone and their uncle had them against Hawaii 2 weeks ago, and they were a dud both weeks.
Yeah.
But, man, Utah State has been really, really good to the over. They're scoring points, and I mean, they've got 30-second drives. Every game they've got a drive where they score a couple plays. So I don't necessarily hate the play. It's a low total, 51.5.
No. I mean, I don't question Rockford. I think I just put my head down, and like when my dad said to do something, I just bet it, and that's the way it is. But watch this. I mean, Rockford could be brilliant. But getting back to these sneaky plays, okay? So now in this baseball, like, do you think that it's getting to a point where like the morals in sports and baseball are getting, like, forget the gentleman's game right now. these guys throwing in these sneaky starting moves. I mean, come on.
Well, so again, we disagree on this because I don't think there's anything immoral about it. I think that it's not like you're kicking your ball in golf or trying to cheat strokes in golf or using illegal substances. This is simply not having the stupidity to tell your opponent what you're going to do, and there's nothing wrong with that. So I don't think there's anything immoral about this, and I think frankly I'm embarrassed for older managers that hadn't thought of this up until now. I think that we're moving into a new era with emphasized analytics and deception and not telegraphing all of your moves. So I think it's actually refreshing.
We got about 20 seconds for a break, but I know I know old school who would be the sneakiest coach to do something like this. I would choose Billy Martin. He would be the biggest maneuver of all this stuff. Where like a Red Shanays for the Cardinals, he'd be too gentlemanly like. But when we come back, think about your coach that you think would be the biggest weasel doing this kind of stuff. Frank Perez, Oklahoma Brian, 5th Street Sports. Don't go anywhere. Stay tuned. We'll be back in just a few minutes.
Hey travelers, do you want to save money on your next flight? Then pick up the phone and call. That's right, call, because the best prices are not online. They're with SmartFares. See, SmartFares has special deals with the airlines. When they have unsold seats, they use SmartFares to fill them. So you get airline tickets at ridiculously low prices. Our prices are too low to publish online. With the extra money you'll save, you can book another trip or treat yourself to dinner or shopping. So stop searching all of those travel sites to find the lowest price on your next flight. Let one of our SmartFares expert travel agents find ridiculously low prices for you. Call SmartFares today and get the best price on your next flight. Guaranteed. Also, save up to 50% off business and first class tickets.
855-325-1780. 855-325-1780. That's 855-325-1780. Do you use the blue pill to charge your sex life? Have you been thinking about trying the blue pill? What if we can promise you the same results for less than $3 a pill? If you're paying $20 a pill for the other pills, you're getting taken to the cleaners. Our pill delivers the exact same results for less than $3. We'll do the math for you. You'll save more than $16 a pill for the same results. Want more? We'll give you 40 blue pills or 40 yellow pills for $99 and add 4 more pills free. You save more than $500. You don't have to be a rocket scientist to know what to do next. You need to call and get your 44 pills for just $99. Stop overpaying for the other blue pills. Call us and start saving a ton of money for the exact same results. Ordering is fast and easy with your pills delivered to your door in a non-marked package. 800-223-0992. 800-223-0992. 800-223-0992. That's 800-223-0992. It has been said that everyone has a book in them. But do you have the time or the ability to write your book? Maybe you picked up some skills or had a life experience that you want to pass on in the form of a book to help others. Maybe you want to leave an autobiography for your family. Or maybe you've built a successful business and you want to share your story. At Dorrance Publishing Company, we have professional writers who can help turn your book idea into a finished manuscript quickly and affordably. A Dorrance ghostwriter can provide as much or as little help as you need to complete your book. You'll work directly with your ghostwriter to finish your book faster than you ever could on your own. It's easy to become a published author. Call Dorrance now to learn more. 800-485-6003. 800-485-6003. 800-485-6003. Call right now. That number is 800-485-6003.
Folks, we're back here, 5th Street Sports. I'm Frank Perez, joined with Oklahoma Brian. We're talking about some sneaky moves in baseball, and he brought it into football. Anyway, so what we got is, but I do believe that these kind of shaky little moves in baseball could affect the bettors because of the handicapping and, having these coaches pull this little stuff. But Brian, I had a question I wanted to ask you on this on this Denver game tonight. We got a lot of inquiries, and they say you're red hot right now. Remember, this is Fifth Street Sports, talk you can bet on. And boy, I got all these notes in from the break, and they want to know what your opinion is tonight on this Denver-Arizona game. What do you got on that for the listeners?
So it's an interesting game. I'm on Denver, so I think that's the right side. I laid 1 on Denver. I like the under as well. I like a lot of props under on the game, and I also am going to throw in some. I'm going to open up some Wongs on the Arizona side, jumping off of the 1.5. So I think it should be. I don't think there's anything incredible about this game, but I think Denver's certainly worth the play. That would be the play that I would recommend first. How about you, Frank? What do you see in the game?
The first thing is I know Jimbo Mullins is not going to be happy because he's got Arizona +3 -20 yesterday on the show. But I'm the same way. This game's taken on the same flavor as the last few ones had. Remember when they bet this Eli Manning down from a +3, 3.5 to almost pick? Same thing here. Denver opened up 2.5, 3. Now it's pick 1. It's probably going back the other way. Just because of that, just because of the line moves, I'm taking Denver. The game opened up, went to 40. Now it's almost 43. I got to go with the under on this one. So I'm going to take Denver and under. That's who I like, just because they never seem to win, especially when they take a dog. That's bad news for Jimbo Mullins. Bad news for Jimbo. But now, Brian, so just so you don't leave the people hanging, and you say you're going to open up the Wong can with Arizona tonight, what would you, because it's Thursday, what would you combine that with for our listeners that have been listening to us with the Wong strategies? What would you use that with right away if they can't do open teasers?
Good question. So first thing is you want open teasers. You want to ask if you're depends on where you're playing. If you're playing at first of all, if you're playing at a brick and mortar casino, you're probably getting robbed on teaser. You probably shouldn't be playing teasers if you're playing at a casino, because very few casinos give good odds. So that's the first thing. If you're playing at a paperhead or some kind of internet based sports book, you probably have better odds than teasers. But you really, really want to ask, if you're a good player, if you're a player that's been around for a while, you have some kind of leverage, you want to try to get those open teasers in there. And if you don't have the open teasers, then as I looked down the board at this week at games that are available for to bet now. Because
you're leading the people into a Wong, which is Arizona, what we always talk about. I guess you would have to use the Bears plus 8.5. Well,
Bears plus 8.5. Yeah, that's a good one. That's a good one. Okay,
how about
I'm pulling up the screen now.
And then let's throw in the Colts minus 1.5. All right.
So you can use that one. It's not my favorite subset, but it's good. I tend to like dogs building up than favorites coming down. But
then what about the Saints? How about the Saints?
But I will say, I'll make an exception in this Indianapolis game because I think Buffalo is going to be in trouble with the quarterback situation. Saints are definitely a play that's in the Wong category.
Cowboys?
The Cowboys for sure. Yeah, absolutely.
All right, so then let's chart this down for the listeners, okay? Because you opened up a big can of Wong here, okay? So then I a lot of times because they can't get open teasers, you lead all of our Wong fans. You take them out there 10 miles in the ocean, and then they don't have open teasers, and then you just drop them off. So we're going to go with here's our Wong plays, okay? Arizona plus 7.5. We're going to go with the Bears plus 8.5. You do want to keep the Colts minus 1.5, right? Even though
I like it.
Okay.
I like it. Yeah.
Colts minus 1.5. Then let's go over to the Saints plus 8.5 and the Cowboys plus 1.5. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So you got a Wong 6-pack. You got a Wong 6-pack in the house. Would you say that?
Yeah. Got the Wong 6 games.
Okay, so we're going to go with the Wong 6-pack, and you would recommend to all of our listeners, because it's talk you can bet on, that they do round robins by 2s, 3s, and 4s, or you just like 3s and 4s?
Well, it really depends on the odds, but I personally find that the best value is 4s at 3-1, and we could even get into. There's actually good odds with 5s and 6s, but it gets complicated. Most people don't have those, so let's stick to the traditional main longs, which are 2s, 3s, and 4s. Focus on your 4s at 3-1. That's your best bet.
Right.
Followed by your 3s at plus 180. That's your second best bet, and then lastly, it would be your 2s at -1. Your 2-team 6-point teasers at -110, which is actually a pretty big drop off in terms of value. And don't even consider betting teasers with 2-teamers if you're laying 120 or worse. I heard Crack on our show on Monday talking about Vegas books making you lay 150. I mean, gosh, at that point.
No, that's for a 7-pointer though. That's for a 7-pointer.
Oh, for a 7-pointer. Okay,
but that's still ridiculous. Still ridiculous. You know that.
Don't buy scratch-off tickets at that point.
Yeah, like 150 is too high. But Brian, on a 5-teamer, I think the odds would be plus 450, right?
That's right. That would be the good odds.
And then 7-1 on a 6-teamer. Well, this is a perfect week with those 6 that we had right now. Why not throw in your 6 5s all the way down, just round robin the whole thing?
Well, you mentioned the magic word round robin. There's nothing better than when a website allows you to put in 6 games, but bet them in multiples of 4s and 5s. That way you're not having to do all the work by hand yourself, and you get a nice even distribution of your action. Hey, okay, so what about college football tonight? Do you have anything you like?
Well, I know a lot of people are on this Stanford laying 2.5, but now they're coming back on Arizona. Gosh, I mean, the game, it's a tough game tonight. Here's another game. Well, what do you got on this? I have Arizona.
I'm small lean to Arizona State. I haven't played it yet. It's one of those games where if you like Arizona State, why would you possibly play them at 2.5? If you have enough outs, there's a chance you're going to get a 3 if you're patient. So market entry is everything, in betting. We talk about that a lot. You can't overestimate that point, though. Market entry, if you have nothing to gain by grabbing that 2.5 in college football. Now NFL games land 1 and 2 a lot more than they used to, and they still land in college football. But it's very likely that 2.5 can become a 3. All you need is one book that takes a big bet from Stanford,
right?
And it hits 3, and then you grab the 3. So I just think no reason to force this. If you're going to bet Arizona State, be patient. Hopefully you pick off a 3.
So your lean is Arizona State. Now, oh guys, we got breaking news here. Hang on a second. We got breaking news coming in. That always means it's America's worst bettor. That's AWB is our little short for him. America's worst bettor is coming in on. Let's see what this guy's got up his sleeve, because remember, he's back on his reverse heater like usual. AWB, America's worst bettor, likes game 382, South Florida, -34. Boy, this guy can't lay enough points against. They're playing Connecticut. Sheesh, that's a lot of points.
Playing a Connecticut team that's been a punching bag of sorts this year, but Connecticut's getting better. I don't know if you followed Connecticut. They're I'm not going to call them competitive because they're still not competitive, but they're a little more competitive. And we know as we follow this sport, wouldn't you say, Frank, that it's harder to cover a big number once we get deep into the year, we get to the 5th, 6th, 7th week of the year, a lot less likely to cover big numbers.
Yeah.
So I hate the play as usual, and I like it when I hate his plays. It's a disturbing feeling when I like it. When I like America's worst bettors plays, that's a really bad sign. But yeah, I would. It's not a game that would have jumped out to me to bet Connecticut, but certainly looking at it now, I would lean towards Connecticut.
Well, yeah, I mean,
South Florida's.
When AWB comes in, but you got a great point, because South Florida's in like the hunt for a huge bowl game. Now they're playing a team later in the year. If they get up by 28, even 35. Late in the 3rd or early 4th, they would have a tendency to yank out some of their starters or some of their key players because they want to keep them healthy, because they got a shot to go deep into these bowls.
Right, and don't forget, South Florida the following week goes to Houston, on the road to Houston. That's a tough game for them, and so why wouldn't they take out a player that has a kind of a borderline injury. In fact, I'd go a step further. I wouldn't even play that guy tonight, or I'd play him very limited minutes, because next week's opponent, Houston, is a much tougher game. And then they got a Tulane team that they play the following week, who's not anything scary, but still a team that could give them trouble.
Yeah.
And then it only gets worse from there. They play another undefeated team in Cincinnati. Then they play a Temple team that's a decent team, and then they go to they come back home and play the UCF team. That's the best team in that conference. So this is kind of like their closest thing they're going to have to a bye week, and I wouldn't expect them to do anything unnecessary in this game to run the score up.
I agree, guys. Let's fade America's Worst Better. We're going to take Connecticut. Now there's another game like you said. Let's not wait. Let's wait. Maybe we can get that 35 on this one. You know what I mean?
Good point. Yeah.
Good point, right?
Good point. Yep, absolutely. No reason to force it. Market entry is everything, and that topic along with having reduced juice and having multiple outs, that's going to make you a much higher percentage winning better than anything else we can teach you on the show. Any picks we can give you, just knowing market entry, having multiple outs, laying reduced juice when you can. Those are three critical things. And they're things that anybody can do right off the bat.
Hey, you got something from Kurt Morgan, right. Brian. What's he got?
Okay, Kurt Morgan. All right. Well, we're just going over plays for tonight. We both agreed on Denver. America's Worst Better likes. Go ahead.
But this Kurt Morgan says, appreciate your winners from last week. Join the show
I'll tell you
late
what,
today.
Kurt.
What action do you like tonight? Why don't you give Kurt? You're red hot, Brian. Give him something.
I'll give Kurt a little IPTAY special here. First of all, Kurt, that's the Clemson Boosters Club. You know what it stands for?
No.
It used to stand for I pay 10 a year. That was their booster club. And then when they got into kind of some shaky times in the late 80s, they were on probation. The joke was it stands for it's probation time again, y'all. Little Clemson joke there. I like Clemson. But by the way, I love Clemson this week. That is a play that's certainly going to get slammed on Saturday. I think you could still lay 16.5 or 17 on that. Look for that game to go to 17.5 or 18. In fact, it might already be there. I haven't looked at the screen in the last couple hours. But in terms of tonight, we like Denver. Let's cross over into the NBA. You have anything in the NBA that you like tonight?
I do. I kind of. Well, not a lot, but I'm looking at these Lakers under 220, 221 and a half, 220 to 221, but not a lot.
Yeah.
But I did see some sharp accounts coming in on Georgia State tonight under 56.
Georgia State.
Under 50.
Okay, let's carry the NBA over into the next segment.
You got it, guys. We got to take a break. It's Oklahoma Brian and Frank Perez. Don't go anywhere. Stay tuned. We're coming right back to you.
Not too long ago, it felt good to withdraw your cash from the bank, didn't it? For a vacation or a new car. But today, withdrawing your own cash has become risky. Pat Boone here for Swiss America. According to The Secret War, a new Swiss America white paper, I learned that all banks are now required to spy on you and me for the government, and then report any financial behavior deemed suspicious or unusual. You must read The Secret War. It's free. Truth is, I believe the government's new war against cash is really a war against us all. But the secret is now out. So please, get and read The Secret War.
Pick up your phone and call right now. 800-932-5517. 800-932-5517. 800-932-5517. Once again, that's 800-932-5517.
Attention business owners. Are you struggling while waiting for your customers to pay on their net 30, 60, or 90-day invoices? Can't get a business loan? Have no equity? Bad credit? Or maybe no credit at all? Then you need to call AmeriFactors right now. AmeriFactors will give you cash for your invoices and there's nothing to pay back. We simply buy your account receivables, and if those clients don't pay on the invoices, we take the loss. We give you funds based on your account receivables, not your credit, and 98% of all applicants are approved. It's that simple. With AmeriFactors, there's no more waiting for your customers to pay. We give you the funds up front, then we wait for your customers to pay us. Fund your business today. Call AmeriFactors right now.
800-847-1183. 800-847-1183. 800-847-1183. That's 800-847-1183.
Are you an inventor who would like to try to have an invention or idea patented and submitted to companies, but you don't know what to do next? Call for free information from InventHelp. InventHelp, a leading inventor service company, has been helping inventors since 1984 and has sales offices located in more than 60 cities nationwide. You'll want to talk to the company that has helped secure more than 7,000 invention patents. So call InventHelp. Even if you have an idea for improving an existing product and don't know where to go with it, you'll still want to call InventHelp for free information. You'll find out how InventHelp may assist you in trying to patent your invention and submit it to companies. So call now.
Call InventHelp at 1-800-316-1738. That's 1-800-316-1738. Get your free information by dialing 1-800-316-1738. That's 1-800-316-1738. 1-800-316-1738.
Hi, folks. We're back here on 5th Street Sports with Oklahoma Brian and Frank Perez. Boy, I got to tell you, the time flies really by. You know, just sitting here, a couple guys talking to our listeners about great strategies and selections and everything. And boy, Brian, like we're almost out of time again. And let's review what we gave out today as far as what especially what you like, because you're red hot. We like Denver. We like under a little bit. We like Georgia State under. You got a lean on Arizona State. Got anything for him in this Boston-Houston game tonight in Major League Baseball?
Yeah, I actually have two things I like in baseball tonight. I like the under in the Houston game, under 8, -110.
Okay.
And I like the first half over in the Dodgers game. The wind's actually going to be blowing out at about 15 to 20 miles an hour in the beginning of the game. The winds will eventually shift and start blowing in. But I'm going to go ahead and go with the wind in the beginning of the game, and you can go over 4 at about -120 on that game.
Hang on a second, Brian. Let me check this out for you, buddy. Let me check this out because you're so on it that in this Dodgers, do the Dodgers go tonight? Yes. No, the Dodgers go tomorrow, Brian.
Oh, that's tomorrow. That's tomorrow. Sorry about that. You're right. That's tomorrow.
Yeah, the Dodgers go tomorrow. But
let's hold back on that. Right now, it looks like the winds are going to be blowing out at the beginning, but you're right. That's 24 hours away. Let's hold off on that. And then in the NBA, I like Portland, laying 3.5. Only play I really like in the NBA tonight.
And also so this is going to be the 4th time that LeBron has started up with a new team, and he's 0-3 so far, right? With the new team.
That's correct. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and ride that trend.
Guys, it's been a great show. Thank you very much. Another thing we want to say, another prayer for Tony at 5 Dimes in Costa Rica. We hope you come home safe. Folks, you've been listening to 5th Street Sports, Oklahoma Brian, Frank Perez. Thank you. We appreciate you. 1 p.m. Pacific, 4 p.m. Eastern. We're here every day. Thanks again. And we'll look forward to seeing you, having you tomorrow. Thank you.